we'll follow two legendary heroes and explore the fateful drinks that came to define not just their futures, but their very souls.
Okay, our first path is forged by the warrior Dan Hùng. Now for him, a final cup of wine is not an act of surrender at all. It's actually the ultimate expression of his unshakable principles and his unwavering loyalty.
To really get Dan Hùng, you have to understand this one concept, Tiễn. And it's not just a word, it's a whole code of conduct. It means an integrity so absolute, a loyalty so deep that you would literally die to uphold your word. For a guy like him, it's the very core of who he is.
And his entire philosophy, his whole choice is built on a few simple but incredibly powerful refusals. He will not betray his Lord. He will not beg for his own life. The only choice he sees is to keep his word. So in the end, his fate isn't sealed by his enemies, it's sealed by his own character.
And that all leads to this incredibly powerful moment. He takes the drink, and he knows exactly what it means. This wine isn't a toast to a future he's not going to have. It's not a plea for a life he won't lead. It is a final, solemn acceptance, a salute to the honorable life he lived and the loyal death he has chosen for himself.
All right, now let's flip the coin completely and look at the hero Kiều Phong. He takes this exact same act and gives it a totally opposite and much, much more tragic meaning. For him, the drink isn't about upholding a bond. It's about severing every single tie he has to the world.
The key concept for him is "don tuit," to sever, to break completely. This isn't some quiet acceptance, okay? This is a violent, decisive declaration, and it's fueled by a profound sense of betrayal. He's basically shouting that everything from his past, his friendships, his alliances, his very identity, is now dead and gone.
And the consequences of that drink, they are immediate and they are brutal. His choice doesn't lead to some honorable end. No, it condemns him to a life of total, crushing isolation. He becomes one man with one blade, facing a world that has wronged him, and he's destined to carry that injustice all by himself.
The finality here is just chilling. The effect is instant and it is violent. I mean, the wine has barely gone down before the bloodshed starts, and with it, any sense of friendship or community is just gone forever. He has chosen to live, yes, but the price of that life is absolute solitude.
So, let's just pause here. We have two heroes and two cups of wine, but they represent two vastly different destinies. One drink preserves honor in death, the other carves out this path of survival, but it's a path just steeped in conflict and loneliness.
It really just boils down to this, doesn't it? On one side, you have a cup to keep your honor, a choice to die with your principles intact. And on the other, a cup to sever your bonds, a choice to live, but with the heavy, heavy burden of breaking every tie that once made you who you were.
And when you break it down like this, their paths are just perfect opposites. Dan Hong's motive? To preserve loyalty, so his action is a calm acceptance of fate, which leads to an honorable death. Kiều Phong motive? To break from a past that he feels betrayed him. So his action is a defiant act of separation, and it leads to a solitary, violent life.
So it makes you wonder, right? What truly defines a hero in these stories? Is it the person who dies for their principles, or is it the one who lives to fight against injustice, even if that means they have to stand completely and utterly alone?
And that question, that right there, leads us to the real takeaway. Because to understand what's truly at stake, we have to look beyond just the symbolism of the drink itself.
Because ultimately, the drink itself is neutral. It's just wine. The true measure of the character, the real story, isn't in the act of drinking. It's in the price they're willing to pay after that cup is empty. One pays with his life, the other, well, the other pays with his soul.
It all comes down to this. The martial world isn't measured by wine, but by the price paid after drinking it. In these grand stories, and maybe, just maybe, in our own lives too, a character is defined not by a single moment of choice, but by the incredible weight of the consequences they are willing to bear.